Howdy, howdy. Hey guys, how's it going? Just coming at you with another video here. And yes, I know it's been an asshole of a long time. I've got a good reason for that. Well, I know it's been a while. Reason I haven't done a video in quite a while is, in fact, since last year to be exact. The last video I did was me talking about having gone to Annapolis Comic Con and all that. Well, since then, the reason I haven't done any videos in a while is, well, I haven't been without a computer. I mean, the one I'm using right now is mine. I got it back in April, but it's only just now recently that I got set up. I was kind of waiting for my dad to do so. It kind of took a while. So, but yeah. So up here a little bit. So anyway, sorry about that. But yeah. The computer I was using, I want to get the new one and all that. So, and it took a while for this one to get set up and all that. So, yeah, here I am. But how am I doing? Well, you know, we're second in my time zone anyway. We're um, in the second month of the new year, early February. You know, throughout the rest of 2022, since the last video I've done, excuse me, the last video I did, I've had a number of things happen. You know, some days have been busy, other days not so much. You know, things come and go, things happen, and you know, um, um, like I guess to name a few, some of the things that have happened since my last video. I've done a couple of conventions. You know, um, I turned 30 last year. I'm going to be 31 at the end of this month. So there's that. I'm still living here at my grandma's house. Um, no, that's so. I occasionally picked up an item or two off of like places like eBay or Amazon, which I might just make a separate video and all that. But who knows? Um, and all that. So, and maybe a thing or two I may have bought at a store or wherever. But um, but there's all that, and um, so I guess what cons have I gone to? Now, based on my last video, as mentioned, I went to Annapolis Comic Con. Um, I also went to Awesome Con in DC, which is a convention I've been to before. I also went to last year happened in early June. It's going to be happening in June again. Um, all that. So, and my fifth time being there, and had a good time. Which will be its own video. And then at the tail end of last October, I went to Baltimore Comic Con. My first time at that particular convention. I had a good time with that one too, which it's also going to be its own video. And welcome to 2022. That's the doing 3 cons in 1 year. That's the most I've been to like as a con goer. That's the most amount of times I've been to a convention in 1 year alone. I only get to do it sporadically. So yeah, so there's that. In the era of COVID, I'm still up to date on my vaccines and all that. And speaking of COVID, guess who had it? I did. That's right. Yeah, I wound up having COVID, and yes, like I said, I'm vaxxed. But how did it feel? It was no fun. It could have been worse. And again, thank God for vaccines, and thank God for modern medicine. By the way, yeah, I am wearing glasses, so my latest pair to be exact. But yeah, Yeah, like I said, yeah, I wound up contracting COVID. My main symptoms were, frequent coughing and a sore throat, um, which could have been a byproduct of, well, the fact that I had COVID, but just still, you know, but I recovered, and right now I'm doing okay, and it was no fun. Now, when it comes to the COVID vaccine, if as I've said before, if you're able to, go get it. Now, I can understand hesitancy to a point, and if you're allergic to vaccines, where you can't take them, I don't hold that against you. And speaking as someone who is pro-vax, I would rather you not get it if it means causing harm. If you're, allergic to them, yeah, I'd rather you be healthy. So, but yeah, but just there's just some. But like I said, if you're able to, go get it. And it's just this anti-vax bullshit is just baffling, especially if coming at strictly from a contrarian point of view. You know, if being as a bratty little child is your reason for not getting it, well, it's like, dude, you're not a serious person. Just saying. But yeah, when I had it, um, I was at the time twice vaxxed, once boosted, excuse me. But as of now, I'm twice vaxxed, twice boosted. I'm Moderna, so um, let's see, but that. So of course, I know I went to awesome con after I had COVID. Like I wouldn't have gone if I knew it was still contagious. No, I had maybe the later half of May. So and how I know that because of course last time I went and got my hair cut, you probably can't tell now because my hair's kind of grown back since then. But when I did have it, I remember it was on May of last year. Actually, had Friday the 13th, and I got my hair done on that day. Maybe a day or so later, at least a day after, anyway, at the earliest, I started feeling like ass, and it just took a couple days for me to get test myself, and I came out positive. So yeah, so and speaking of which, I got my as mentioned, I got my yeah, I don't know how really. I don't know if it's really worth talking about, but as I mentioned, I got my hair cut, but I just still can't tell because it's grown back. So my haircut was, believe it or not, done by happened to be a dear friend. Her name is Tiffany. She's a trained hairdresser and all that. Um, but I'm got so yeah, I went into her place because I was feeling a little generous. And it's nice to have something like that done by an old friend, but um, so there's that. So um, like I said, she and I, we've known each other since the first grade and all that. So there's that. Um, so what else is there? Well, I mentioned earlier that I'm still living in my grandma's house, and I still am. Yeah, I got something to say about that though. My grandma, she regretfully passed away. Honestly, sorry to say, but she did. She's the last of my grandparents. Um, she had Alzheimer's like last year of her life, and eventually she's passed away. It was this past August that she went. I was pretty sad about that, and in this lifetime, I had a lot of problems with my grandma, that didn't she and I didn't always get along with each other through no fault of my own. I always don't think so, but she didn't always, but having said all that, I've whatever anger or frustration I held towards her, I no longer feel that way. So, but yeah. So, yeah, like I said, that's what happened. She passed, and also I happened to be a pallbearer at her funeral. So yeah. For any of y'all out there who happens to watch my videos, or anyone who's just out there in life who still has their grandparents in way, I hope they stick around for as long as possible. And I'm speaking as someone whose grandparents are all extinct. So yeah. Um, and speaking of which, I've gone to a few other funerals throughout the year. Like a neighbor or two. That's been around my neck of the woods has sadly died on us. Uh, the parent of a couple childhood friends. That another neighbor uh, also he used to live down the street. I didn't know him too well, but I knew of him. Um, and all that. So, um, um, and a friend of my dad's, so whose mom passed away and all that. I don't know if I should bring that part up because my friends and family, their business is their business. So, but I don't know if I should bring that up. But so like I said, and I don't know. So, but anyways, I've got in the most recent funeral I went to was an old classmate from elementary school. So he was my age, 30. So so but yeah. So I kind of did a couple. Like I said, I did a few funerals throughout the year. So which kind of sucks. I mean, death sucks. It really does. I mean, there's really not much you can do about it though. So yeah. Um, and so, and I guess speaking of which, when it comes to me living in my house, and which I still am, the room I'm in right now won't be in here for much longer. Why? I have my cousins moving in and all that. So, and there's a room that downstairs that was at one time my granddad's office, and that's going to be converted to a bedroom. I'm going to move in downstairs. So, and like I said before, I don't want to get too much into my personal lives with my friends and family. So that's their business. So I'm just so, but that's what's up, and just but even then, how do I feel about that? Well, I don't like leaving my room, but I guess it's better than getting kicked out, or better than losing the house. So I guess it's when you look at it from the lesser of two evils vantage points, is you take that, you know. Um, so I don't know ever get to take this room back at any point, but just as far as the foreseeable future is concerned, I'm moving in downstairs. So, okay, and speaking of, but what's it doesn't gonna hinder me from doing videos. If I mean, but always I hope it doesn't. But it just I'm still in the same house, just different rooms. All that. I hope to always churn out a couple more videos before I ultimately use. I don't know when that eventually will happen, but I don't know. So, but because there's been a lot of there's been some. I have been kind of busy around the house because but I just hope to get a couple more videos in the meantime. So we'll see what happens. And speaking of my grandma and all that, yeah, even after she passed away, she had a dog, a little poodle. We continued taking care of him. His name was Pierre, but he too has regretfully passed away. May he rest in peace. He was a good boy. Yeah, and all that. And we made sure he was well taken care of. But he had just gone downhill in the last few days before he died. And ultimately, it was like early December that he did so. Sorry for the movement. I'm just kind of changing position here. But yeah. So, but like I said, he ultimately passed. I also have my other dog Cosmo and all that. She's still alive, but she's kind of getting up there in age. Her mobility is not as good as it once was. Well, she's not the spring chicken she used to be. So but she's hanging in there. So, but her age is catching up to her, but she's still in good spirits. So hopefully she'll stick around for as long as possible. So, um, and I guess um, and I guess since we're talking about other random other things too, uh, as noticed you mentioned, I've got my glasses. This is my latest pair. Why am I wearing them? Well, I've been wearing them. I've been wearing glasses maybe off and on since maybe my early teens, like 12, 13. Um, as of right now, uh, my vision is not in lockstep. Well, it's a bit wonky. I'm not blind, knock on wood, but excuse me. But vision, my vision is not exactly in lockstep. Like I'm nearsighted. Uh, I'm nearsighted in one eye, farsighted in the other. This eye right here, my left one, um, um, it's got a bit of a misshapen cornea to it, and my right eye does much of the work, and my brain hasn't really like comprehended that discrepancy. Um, so yeah, kind of these glasses are meant to kind of help even things out. The pair I had before them, I lost, and so far I haven't found them, so I went and got a new pair. These are transitionals. They're colored green. So as far as colors, I had a choice between green, gray, and brown. I got green. So, and sorry if you can see the reflection. I'm trying not to make that happen. Um, but yeah. So, anything else I'm doing? Well, when I'm not busy, doing this, that, or the other. I'm just kind of, like I said, hanging around the house, just catching up some shows. Um, when it comes to um, streaming services, though I've got things like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, and as of recently, I've got Paramount Plus. I just kind of watch whatever I'm interested in, or just whatever I feel like. Give it, whether it be on television itself or on home video in some way, and I just kind of just whatever happens, on all that, or whatever I'm in the mood for. And actually also have HBO Max and Disney Plus. However, there's a bit of a catch to that. When it comes to my aunt and uncle are sharing with us access to them. It's like you can share it with. I guess you can share things like that with people, even if you don't have it ourselves. So, like, even though we ourselves, my household do not have subscription, do not. So there's two things: HBO Max and Disney Plus. My household does not have subscriptions to them, but my aunt and uncle are cool enough to share access. Yeah, with it. So I guess it's like we have them without having them, and we've more or less returned the favor by allowing them share use HBO Paramount Plus if they're so inclined. So it's like which is cool. I appreciate that. You know I think shows I'm watching. Let's see. I'm currently in the middle of Entourage right now. I'm working on season 7. So I'm watching that. See, as far as Star Wars, think I'm a fan. um, I have seen all of Kenobi, all of Andor, all of Book of Boba Fett. It's easy to say, oh, I enjoy them. Yeah, I do have that bias as a fan and all that, but um, I guess depending on how I feel about it, maybe it's just I mean, I mean, outside of the Mandalorian, it seemed like Andor probably got the most amount of positivity and all that. So, I know. I guess Boba Fett. I guess one of those. I suppose love it or hate it, or at least just you Um, and Kenobi. I guess it's kind of cool that there was that hype around it and all that. Um, I guess. I guess I'm being a little wonky in how I feel about it because it's like I don't want to be too unbiased. Oh, I liked it. Why'd you like it? I don't know. Just liked it. But just I don't know. Well, it gave me something to watch. I can tell you that. But I guess when you do have that pre-existing bias, it's easy to say yes, no, or maybe like, do I like it? Yeah. Why'd you like it? I don't know. You know what I mean. So, but I guess that just I guess by themselves are fun rides. But maybe I have to go back and check them out more just to know that. Well, I've actually, believe it or not, seen Kenobi twice. I watched it on my own weekly, and then I did a rewatch of it in order to show it off to my dad, so and mom too, I guess. So um, but anyways, but maybe I have to go. Well, I guess it's how I ultimately feel about it. Maybe subjectively as a fan, they're fun rides, but it'd be maybe I'd have to somehow or another figure out a way to review them objectively. But who knows? I don't know. But they are what they are. So I mean, so as of now, I'm all caught up on the live action stuff. I've got as far as the animated stuff, I got a ways to go. I mean, I've seen all of Rebels, all of Resistance, um, all of the OG Clone War series. Um, I still have not seen the entirety of the canon Clone War stories, and I've still not yet watched the Bad Batch yet. And I've also watched Tales of the Jedi, which is animated. Um, so um, as far as anime, I'm still watching Digimon Tamers. Well, I've been watching it on DVD because I've got a box set that's goes all the way up to Frontier. And again, it's all of it's on Hulu except for Data Squad and all that. So you think if it's on there, why didn't I watch it that way? I don't know. I guess maybe I just wanted to finish it on DVD. But then again, I don't know. I guess my own lot. I don't even make sense to myself sometimes. So it's like if I know I can watch it on Hulu, why do I want to watch on TV? So I want to watch on DVD. I don't know. Yeah, it's just one of those. Even your own logic doesn't make sense to you sometimes. It's like go figure, right? Um, but yeah, so there's all that, and I guess I'm just kind of watching all my. I'm also been watching King of the Hill on Hulu. I've seen most of season one and all that. I got one more episode to knock out before I go further on. Yeah, I've watched King of the Hill before. Great show. I've always been into it. Um, um, but I've seen the different episodes from different seasons, but I've never done a proper run through of the series. But so um, um, there's that. So the show itself ran for 14 seasons, so I've got a good ways to go and all that. Um, that. So in terms of finishing any other shows, I may have mentioned. I know something I brought up before. And on past maybe a past video I've done, video or two. It was one show I was watching on Netflix called H2O Just Add Water. You may have heard of it. It's a little show based out of Australia. I went through that and all that. I don't know if I've mentioned it since then, but but if not, I'll just mention it here. I finished it, and I actually enjoyed it. Don't know why, but I did. But the idea that like as of now I'm in my early 30s. and all that. And the idea that a show about mermaids that is geared towards teen girls and all that, how could it appeal to a guy like me? I don't know, but I don't know if I'll go back and check it out again, but maybe who knows, you know. Although from my last I checked, seasons 2 and 3 are dipping out on Netflix, but they're keeping season 1. Kind of wish they weren't, but they are. But then again, something as I understand they've done before. But seasons 2 and 3 have gone back up and all that. Maybe I'll do the same thing again. But it's like, oh come on. I'll probably just keep it on my Netflix queue though. So um, I finished it way back in 2021. So I know it aired. It started out in Australia and it aired out here in the States and all that. And I guess I guess at some point, I guess I just, and I've mentioned before that maybe I may have seen bits and pieces of it, at least in reruns, but and I know definitely on YouTube, but I guess it just kind of worked up a desire to want to check it out, and I did, and I had a good time. Yeah, with it, even with the whatever flaws it does have, I still enjoyed it. I don't know if I ever do a rewatch, I don't know how I'll feel about it then, but just based on my first watch by itself, I liked it. You know, so there was another show that I watched on Hulu called what was it? Every what was it? Uh, Actresses on H2O. Her name is Kariba Hine. I want I I wanted to check out some of her work too because mainly because I thought she was kind of funny. You know, because I mean, I by that I mean like you know, I guess because if you've ever watched H2O, she's gonna be a little snarky, and some of her remarks always kind of made me laugh. You know that, and I got to see where she and some of her other work. Like I watched it for that reason, and all that. She did a few episodes and all that, but yeah, with or without her, I still enjoyed that show too. And it's like, would I like a season 2? Oh yeah. Um, I guess we're talking about fellow actors and actresses in that show. I know that um, Claire Holt and Phoebe Tonkin, they did the Vampire Diaries and a spinoff called The Originals. Maybe I should check those shows out too because they're who knows, like it's kind of interesting. Sometimes you check things out because of your of actors and all that, actors. But I don't know. I know I'm just being a little rambly here, but I don't know. But like I said, I've since then finished that show. I had a good time with that one too. And if season 2 happens, I'd like to check that out too. But so, um, but yeah, um, but I guess once going back to anime, like once I'm done with Tamers, I'll probably get back to Frontier. I haven't seen that show and all that. And how after I'm done with Frontier, how I'll go about watching Data Squad? That's a good question because I don't have the series on home video in its entirety. And I know it exists, but I just don't have it. But who knows? So I guess there's all that. So and I guess with all that said, I guess that's. Oh wait, while I'm thinking of it, I was about to call it quits. But oh wait, whenever I'm doing long rambling videos like this, I sometimes tend to talk about world events. Um. Well, how like what are some of the things that have happened? Well, we just had our midterms back in November. Here in Maryland, we elected a new governor because Maryland. I mean, I guess in terms of term limits, I guess that varies from state to state. Here in Maryland, excuse me, I've heard. Anyway, here in Maryland, a state governor is term limited. So we had Larry Hogan for 8 years. Now we have our new one, Wes Moore. I voted for him. You know, he's probably better than the other guy. You know, Dan Cox, because he was like an election denier, and he, I think, I think he might be a QAnoner. Well, I know Larry Hogan referred to him as a QAnon whack job. It's like, I don't want. Who wants that guy? So I guess as far as policy reason, what reason would I have for voting for Westmore? Um, what was it? I guess things like unions, minimum wage. I'll take things like that. So during the primaries, I was leaning towards Rushern Baker, but he dropped out, and of course, I ultimately voted for Westmore. If I had not voted for him, I probably would have gone for the Green candidate, even though I know third parties tend not to get in and all that. But just I don't know. I guess if we had um, ranked choice voting, or at least something similar to it, I would probably. Uh, I guess maybe the Green candidate, depending on how I like him or not, might be at the top or at least somewhere near it. So um, I guess maybe my if we had that, I guess my I guess having voted for Westmore, I guess my ranked choices would have been him, uh, Green candidate, Libertarian, Republican. But who knows? Or if I didn't like the Democratic candidate, I might do the Green. Democratic or Green um, might might be interchangeable. So now politically, I'm a registered independent, but I do lean left. Nominally, I'm more of a Democrat, but I'm not a registered one. So I probably should be, because Maryland is a state that has closed primaries. So, but who knows? But I guess I know that a lot of Trump-backed candidates lost, and a lot of like Dr. Oz, Dan Cox, Curry Lake, in the name of you, and Carrie Lake, who ran for governor of Arizona, she lost. While a lot of other candidates, uh, Trump endorsed candidates, uh, and conceded, Curry Lake is the only one who has not. It's like, this is what we get for having a guy who wouldn't concede when he lost the 2020 race. But I don't know. So, and I guess, and I will say this too, with Westmore, I did watch the inauguration and all that, or at least I tuned in midway through it, or whatever. His campaign slogan is "Leave no one behind." He learned that in the army. You know, as our newly elected governor, I hope that to the best of his ability, uh, will he be able to do just that. I hope he will be able to leave no one behind. So, yeah. And I guess what else is there going on? Well, Roe v. Wade got overturned. It's like, well, how do I feel about abortion personally? I personally don't like it. It doesn't come from a religious point of view. I just don't like the idea of it. Um, but I know there's the whole idea of her body, her choice, and all that. I understand that. I wouldn't want to control a woman's body. Especially since I'm a dude, I can't get pregnant. So there's all that. So I don't know. But then I don't know if that rhetoric makes me pro-choice in a way. But I don't know. You hear about some of these horror stories that have gone about since it's been overturned, because it allowed uh, safe and legal access to it. But it's like, I guess when it comes to the whole uh, pro-life, pro-choice, it's like, are there those who are actually pro-life, or do they just pro-birth? Like once the kid's been born, all right, you're good, mission accomplished. So And you'd think that if you're going to be a little consistent, you'd be pro healthcare, anti death penalty, anti war. So, and and of course, the whole idea of to like, oh no, just get rid of abortion altogether. It's like try getting rid of alcohol. We're all banning it. How do you think that turned out? They're trying to do the same. They tried doing that for weed, keeping it illegal. There's black markets and all that. So it's what makes people think they're going to accomplish the same. And what makes people think that they're going to save lives by overturning Roe v. Wade? And especially it's just I don't know, and especially since when it comes to being opposed to um do it all together, even in cases like rape, incest, life of the mother, and all. It's like that don't care, you have the kid anyway. It's like, dude, do you not understand the circumstances? It's like, how myopic can people be sometimes? So especially since Biden, he could have codified it, but did he do it? No. And again, I think every Democratic president since it was first enacted could have done it. Like Carter didn't do it, Clinton didn't do it, Obama didn't do it. In fact, Obama, during his '08 campaign, he said, "Hey, if I'm made president, I'm going to codify it. As soon as he gets into power, back in '09, it's not that important." And like I said, Biden could have done it, but again, he didn't fucking do it. So, but speaking of Biden and all that, I mean, I'll give him as a citizen, uh, as someone who voted for him and all that, like too, I'll give him credit where it's due. Like he turned out some good things, like the um, Inflation Reduction Act, student loan debt forgiveness, you know, um, and all that. That's what else am I thinking? He's done some good things, but there's some people who think, oh, he's the most progressive since LBJ, since FDR. Like he's bare minimum Biden. Let's put it that way. Give us some good things here and there, but nothing transformative. So, I mean, like, we could have had Build Back Better, but he didn't fight for it hard enough, and especially with the likes of ghouls such as Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema. Now, if LBJ were still alive and the same thing were happening, that man would not think twice about cracking some skulls. Seems like some of our politicians don't know how to play politics. So I don't know. So like he's done some good things, but just like I said, bare minimum. So kind of wish he just go a little bit further. I mean, he knows how to sound vaguely populist on social media, but sometimes like what you say versus what you do, it's not always in lockstep. Like Obama, great campaigner, gifted orator. He promised us FDR, he gave us Bill Clinton. So now uh, the 2024 race coming up, who will I vote for or support? You know, Now I voted for Biden as a lesser of two evils, but will I vote for him again, assuming he's the nominee? I don't know. Maybe I probably should, but who knows? Um, but like if Bernie were to run again, I'd probably support him. He was my pick for president the last time, but he lost. Um, I've heard good things about Marianne Williams, and she ran back then to the 2020. And I might get behind her too, but then again, it depends on who all runs and who all is most in lockstep with my views. But we'll see what happens. But I don't know. So yeah, so and especially since Trump, I know is on the campaign trail again. It's like that man should never have been near the White House, but sadly he was. It's a broken system that gave us that guy. So, and especially since you get guys like Ron DeSantis, who's the apparently the heir apparent to him. He's governor of Florida, and I guess which is funny. You heard about this red wave, red tsunami. To the extent that there was one, Florida got it the most. I guess apparently he knows how to, or that man knows how to like appeal to the Trump base, but without actually being a Trump clone. But I don't know. But just it's hard to find politicians who are actually decent ones who actually fight for the people and do right by them. And when you come across them, they get screwed over. Like look at how with Bernie, he got fucked over not once but twice. Both times he ran for president. I don't know, man. So I don't know. I guess with all that said, I'm clocking in a little bit over 40 minutes, 41 right now. But excuse me. I guess with all that said, thanks for hearing me out. And if there's anything I forgot to say right now, I'll probably think of it after I log out. But I guess with all that said, uh, thanks for hearing me out. And I hope to get a couple more videos out and sometime in the near future. Um, I guess with all that said, just rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.